How's it going, Goomy Gang? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Black Ops 6 video. We're taking a step back from Warzone and going back to multiplayer. And in this video specifically, we're going to talk about the Marine SP with Slugs. This is only the Marine SP we're talking, not the ASG. And with this one, we're going to go over the damages, the ranges, kind of what changed, because recently these things were bugged where you could just hip fire them. As long as you were in that damage range with the one-shot kill, you would basically get a free one-shot kill. It was super easy to do. It was bugged completely. And so they ended up nerfing them to account for that bug. And then finally, we recently just got the patch that introduced a proper fix for them, so now they're balanced accordingly. So we're going to go over that, share my thoughts, I'll give you guys the best class I have for them, and all that good stuff. Of course, timestamps will be in the description below if you want to hop to a certain part of the video. First, we'll start off with the damage and the ranges. Now, I'll show you guys the initial ranges that we had for the Slugs pre-nerf. So as you can see, out to about that 9.7 meter mark, you were actually able to get a one-shot kill anywhere. It doesn't matter if you hit their toenail, you hit a hair on their head, wherever, they were gonna die. You do 100 damage at least across the board up until about 9.7 meters, which made this thing super consistent. It was a ton of fun to use this because it felt so good. As long as you hit them, they were dead. And you had a little bit more range than buckshot, not quite that much more, but a little bit more, which was nice to see. But past that, you had to get a headshot to get a one-shot kill. Of course, that ended up getting nerfed because of the hipfire bug that was non-intended, and so that basically turned into no one-shot kill potential at all unless it was a headshot. So now we fast forward to today with the most recent patches we got, and this is the new damage profile for Slugs. So the big things to notice here is legs don't one-shot kill anymore. So even if you're point blank and you hit them in the leg, they don't die. Now, of course, that's not a huge deal because most people probably wouldn't hit the legs, but if they jump and you kind of scuff your shot, you will not get a one-shot kill. Now, it's important to note here that you can only get a one-shot kill if you're hitting that stomach area, if you're in the 2-meter range, which is super short. And I really wish they would extend this because it's really annoying being 3 meters away, shooting someone in the stomach with a slug and they just kind of brush it off. Kind of annoying. But the cool thing here is that you can still get one-shots out to about 12 meters as long as you hit the chest or up, and then past that out to 24. As long as you hit a headshot, they will die in one shot. So this thing has a lot more range than it did, especially if you hit a headshot. I'm always surprised how good this thing feels when you use it and you hit that solid chest shot. 12 meters isn't super far, but it's not also like really short. It's a good little medium range for a shotgun like this to where it feels pretty good, and you'll be surprised if you stack on that long barrel. Your one-shot range for chest shots goes up to around the 14-meter mark. It's around that, but it's pretty good, and honestly, it feels like it's totally solid and it's very good, and it rewards you for being good with your aim. This kind of damage profile reminds me of the Modern Warfare 2019 slug shotguns because it was the same idea where you could get like stomach and up one-shots, the next range it was just chest and up, then after that it was headshots and up. Very similar profile to that, and kind of similar to Modern Warfare 2022, but I do like to see this because it gives you an incentive to really be accurate with your aim. And in all honesty, this kind of feels like a sort of weaker version of like a Lockwood Mark II, like a lever action or a marksman rifle. You're not getting as much range, but it has a little bit better handling, I believe. And so this is actually a fun trade-off and definitely worth using if you're into these sort of builds. Now, there's a few other things I want to talk about with Slugs and make them fun in this game. For one, it seems like they removed most of the aim down sight's inaccuracy with Slugs. And other CODs, usually what happens is with Slugs, there's like this inaccuracy where it doesn't always go where you aim it. And I know most guns have that anyway. They're kind of built into the gun. It's not always the same spot over and over if you shoot a wall. But with Slugs, it was increased because they wanted to make it to where you had to use a choke to balance it out, and they were wildly inaccurate, as some of the descriptions would say, so you needed to have a choke to kind of help that, or a big barrel to reduce the spread. But that doesn't seem to be the case in this game. It seems like they pretty much just go wherever you aim them, so that's really nice to see. And also, it seems like the speed of which the slug travels isn't super slow, so you can challenge people at ranges and feel confident enough in your shots to where you're going to hit them, and you don't have to like really crazy lead them or anything. It feels decent enough, and it feels pretty good, and honestly, it does kind of feel like a hit scan gun at some ranges, which is nice to see. Even though it's not hit scan, it kind of feels that way in some regards. So I'm happy that they went this route and didn't make them crazy inaccurate, and they have decent range, of course. Now, if you're wanting the best class setup, this is what I landed on. We're rocking the long barrel because it gives you more range. It's the best barrel overall, I find, for whatever way you run this gun. It's generally a good way to go. The Ranger foregrip is no longer bugged. You can equip it, and since if you don't want to really rock an optic, you can rock this instead because this gives you a better sprint move speed, which is really handy when you want to be fast. The combat stock I use because it helps with your sprint to fire speed, which is really nice. nice, but another option I'll use is the quick draw stock because that really helps your aim down sight speed. Even though you have a slower sprint to fire speed, I found this one actually pretty useful. So I would say either rock the quick draw stock or the combat stock, see which one feels good to you. Then we have the target laser, which doesn't help with spread or anything. They actually nerfed this laser. It doesn't do that anymore, but really this is for aim down sight sway. It keeps your gun a lot more steady, makes hitting those longer range and even medium range shots a lot easier. And of course we're rocking slugs. You can rock an optic if you want. You can put a suppressor on it. I would just swap out the Ranger foregrip as the attachment you want to switch if you wanted to rock one of those. As for my thoughts overall on these slugs, I'm actually fairly happy with them. The only really issue I have is that I don't feel like I should be getting hit markers at stomach level at like 3 meters or 2 meters. It's a little short. I would like to see them buff up that max damage range a tiny bit, but otherwise I love that they're incentivizing you to aim. It seems like they're really leaning into the idea of this is sort of a closer range or medium range marksman rifle with a lot of power, and if you hit your shot well, you'll be rewarded for it, and it definitely feels great. In some of the games I had with it, I popped off and people couldn't do anything. In some, of course, though, when my aim was off, I died a lot. So it's very high risk, high reward, and so I encourage you guys to try it if you're like me and really love that high risk, high reward gameplay style. And that's pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. So as always, I want to know down below in the comments, what do you guys think about slugs on the Marine SP? Are you happy to see them get a little nice buff? Are you happy to see that they can one-shot headshots so far? Or do you think they maybe need a little bit more love? And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.
Finish the job.